Hello, my name is Greg, and I'm about to jump into a 13-week coding bootcamp. It's full stack. It's supposed to take me from nothing to being able to land a job in software development, hopefully a junior role. That is a goal, but not the ultimate goal. So my current goal is to get through my software engineering degree in WGU. I've been pursuing it. I'm about halfway through, and I've started hitting courses that I'm struggling with because they want us to do projects, and I can't read material and then create it immediately. So I need some instructional assistance, and getting a hold of the instructors is a day out to a week out, depending on their schedule. And by then I forgot where I'm at or what I'm doing. And it's hard to keep a pace up when I don't have the immediate feedback or being able to ask questions when I run into something and get answers relatively quickly. So I've been looking at boot camps for a couple months because I knew that this was going to be an issue. And hopefully I can progress through this boot camp and then use it to slingshot my degree through WGU. I will say that I've done a ton of research on YouTube and Google to find out about different boot camps and what their pros and cons are. And it ranges from some of these boot camps are god awful, and some of them are the best thing that ever happened to the person reviewing it, right? So it's apparently your mileage may vary for each individual person. Um, it seems like a lot of people got jobs out of them back in the early 2016, 2019, 2020, and then after that, it seems like they just started to become kind of scammy and they just wanted your money and weren't pushing you through or helping you place jobs, things like that, or who knows, right? So I did find an in-person one, which is seems to do better than the online ones, and I'll have a coach or instructor in front of me as well as a TA for the entire 13 weeks. We'll be able to 9 to 5 every day. We have weekend projects. Looks like it's going to be pretty intense. That being said, I did talk to some people in my current employment who have been through this boot camp and they got jobs from it. And the one really pushed me, said, "Hey, if you have any interest in this, or if you think you do and you like what you do, like go take this boot camp. It will launch you forward. As long as you put in the time and the effort, like you'll learn from it and you will be able to get a job." He's like, "I came out of there and I landed this job from it." So it has some decent ties to the local area here, and I found 70 something reviews on Google and only 2 were bad, um, and that was interesting. So I took the leap, said, "Yeah, let's do it." Before I did that, actually, they hosted a 3-day intro, whatever you want to call it, crash course of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And they said, "Come on out, see how we teach, see if it's for you, if you enjoy doing this, if you want to do it before making the leap. Like, don't just throw your money at us because we want to make sure that it's a good fit for both, right?" So I went out. I spent the first 2 days, it was a Saturday, Sunday, and a Wednesday. And the first day we learned HTML, CSS. We cloned a web page. We copied it over, not copied it over. We used the same design, I guess. It was just, here's a picture, put it in the center. Okay, and they taught us how to do that with HTML, putting a picture in there, and then CSS of moving it around and getting it to the right position, and then having the different text fields and different things like that. We did like an image gallery. We did a bunch of stuff on this webpage. We basically just cloned it, right? It was just a good practice exercise. They said, "All right, so here's your lab. Go do this tonight or tomorrow before class." And it was another cloning exercise essentially, but instead of having a web page for us to right click and inspect and look at, it was in Figma, and they said, "Here's the mock-up of it. We want it to look like this. Here's the images, the JPEGs, whatever else you need to make it look like this. Go ahead and do that." And so I did. They had a Discord, which I was able to ask questions in because I got stuck a few times, and they were great about jumping in there and helping out. Did that, came back the next day, showed it off, did pretty good. They obviously had some critiques and some things I learned, so that was good. Then day 2, we did a logic game of guess the number, and it had a number between like 1 and 10, and you have to narrow it down and guess the right number, right? And then we built in with JavaScript, well, once you guess that number, it grows in size. So now instead of 1 through 10, it's 1 through 100. You have to guess the number, and then it like goes on from there, and it adds more, and it says how many guesses it took you, things like that. So we built all the logic behind it. We worked with arrays, we worked with the DOM and editing it from JavaScript. That was a lot of fun, a lot of cool things there. So did that. Day two's lab was building a rock, paper, scissors game in HTML. So we did that, and that was a lot of fun. The logic behind it, I got stuck on once or twice and had to get some help. I thought just some if statements would be good enough, but I missed some things. So I ended up using some switch statements, which was cool. Yeah, I learned a lot there and came back and it was good to go. That one, actually, they're like, this is great. This is exactly what you needed to learn, and you did it. So good job. Day three, they taught us how to use objects and call different pieces of them depending on what you're doing and use that to show up in HTML. So using the DOM again or modifying the DOM again. And that was a lot of fun. It was like a dungeon stomper. You're going through and you're attacking with your boots on monsters, and we used the different objects to populate monsters and randomize them, and it randomized like their health and their attack and their speed, I think, so who went first, things like that. And then we were able to go back to town and heal up or buy new boots. And then we got into the logic of, well, your boots now cost more because you're upgrading them again. So every time you upgrade your boots, you now have to go and spend more. So check and make sure there's enough money there, gold, whatever, right? So a lot of little pieces all filing together. It was really cool to see and to get working. And so we went through that. They let us they really engaged with us, which was kind of cool. The instructor let us pick the names for the monsters and like the starting stats or the health, and we'd tweak a little bit. But he would ask us our ideas, and then we would put it in there, and then so he really kept us interested, which was good to see. Like made it fun to learn while doing it, which really helped sell me on this place. So that was fun. And then they said, there is another lab. If you guys want to do it, feel free. Obviously, there's not another day in this crash course, but let us know. So I did. I spent the next couple of days, got on Discord, asked my questions when I got stuck on building a ping pong championship tournament. And it was out of the best out of five, or the five winning matches wins the tournament. And so you had to track the teams and the different players, the teams, how many points they scored each, things like that. You reset it so that they could start a new game. And then once somebody won the tournament, you stopped it, and like having an end state, like a lot of things I would never think about. It was a lot of fun, and just the logic behind it was cool. So we did that. I submitted it. I sent it to you. I said, hey, can you review this? And the guy looked it over. He said, oh, yeah, looks good. Here's some things you can add on to this if you wanted to make this even more that's not in our lab. But if you wanted to keep learning or do other things, here's some things to check out. So um, they were very responsive, very quick to give feedback and help out. Um, Even through like the next month and a half, so April, they did a Unity course, which was free to anybody for a week, like 3 hours each day, Monday through Friday. Just like, hey, we're going to build a little Unity game, and we are open to having people come and just learn with us and have fun. And so I went and did that, and learning the C# was really cool. A lot different than JavaScript with the variables and stuff, but it was fun, and that was good. They had labs for that, and I walked through those labs and did as much as I could during the week while I was working. So they were understanding, and for a free course, right? Like learned a lot, got to see more logic and more coding. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, this boot camp looks solid, and ultimately I think I will learn a lot. So this video is just me saying, hey, I know about objects, arrays, modifying the DOM, a little bit of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And this is my starting point. I start tomorrow and I go in, and hopefully in a week I will do another video saying, here's what I learned this week. Here's all the new things that we covered. Here's where I struggled. Here was a lot of fun. Yeah, I plan to do this each week. After 13 weeks, maybe I'll recap it. I'll come back and watch this video and be like, God, I didn't know nothing. And so hopefully I can then turn around and look and say, I spent a lot of time learning, and I did. I learned a lot, and I now know how to post this web page to whatever, right? I can create my own backend. I can create my own databases. Like, we'll see. I don't know. I don't know how to do any of that yet, but I'm sure I will at the end of this. I did go in between March and May now. I went and did some web dev simplified videos, and he had this like war game, so I followed along and did this. It's a lot more stuff that I didn't know about, like how to build just a deck of cards is crazy. But yeah, you have your two arrays and you have your different suits and your obviously your cards here, and then you combine them using sorry, down here, flat map and a map. And I still don't know what the difference is here, but that was cool to see like some new stuff. So I gotta go figure that out. Um, and I plan on adding on to this as part of like my self-learning because when you have ties, it just tucks the card back underneath, and I want it to like pull three new cards face down, and that's what you're going to war over essentially. And then the winner of the next flip will take all those cards and put them in their deck, or put them in a separate deck maybe, and it gets shuffled after you run out. We'll see. Because currently, everything just goes back to the bottom of your deck, and if you have an ace in your deck at all, you can't lose. Because ties, you just put them back at the bottom, so you just keep going through. So as long as each person has an ace, like this will never end. I want to get to an actual end state. So got some things to do here, but this was a good little video he had. And oh man, this guy has a ton of videos and he goes into each topic really well. So I'm hoping I can utilize him or utilize his YouTube videos to learn concepts because I think there's gonna be a lot I need to know and it'll be fun. So yeah, that's it in a nutshell. Doing some videos to see where I'm at, what I learn each week, and then come back at the end of the whole course and get my thoughts on it, see where I'm at, and hopefully propel myself forward to finish my WGU software engineering degree. So, yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.